which meant that she probably could not have a hearing this week. So that pushes her hearing to next week at the earliest. And what it means in practical terms is that President Trump is unlikely to have a director of national intelligence sworn in on January 20th, the same day that he is sworn in, which is something that presidents typically like to have because it is such a key position. In Tulsi Gabbard's case in particular, Reed, there are Democrats who have a number of concerns about her. Democrats on the Intelligence Committee, which will be holding her confirmation hearing. They say that she has relatively little intelligence experience. They have concerns about some of her relationships with U.S. adversaries. They want to know why she went to Syria to meet with the deposed dictator Bashar Assad in 2017. And so they say they are not willing to hold that hearing until they get all of her paperwork, her background checks, her ethics disclosures, and the like. And because this is the Intelligence Committee, Reed, it tends to operate a little differently than the rest of Congress.
Hey, everybody. After that little clip, we know that there's a problem with the Senate confirmation hearings for Tulsi Gabbard. I did not know a lot about Tulsi Gabbard before her highlight coming through. I know there was some, rumors in the background years ago. There was all sorts of chatter about her. But in a recent Wall Street Journal article, it was stated that Tulsi Gabbard couldn't clearly state what the job of the Director of National Intelligence actually does. Yeah, folks, that was the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch himself. Okay, so this isn't partisan in any way. This is the big guy from Fox Network speaking out through his newspaper, really kind of panning the choice of Tulsi Gabbard for national intelligence. Now, everybody knows national intelligence is like the top of the pile. They coordinate with the FBI, the CIA, and other outside organizations, the different intelligence gathering groups around the world. To have someone at the top of that list who's got it like a tainted past is pretty difficult to swallow. And if I was going to bet on anybody from any of the Senate hearings not making it, this is where my buck would be. So let's talk a little bit about Tulsi. First of all, Tulsi is a combat vet. She is a previous congresswoman, and she has been quite outspoken about a lot of things. But right now, the holdup on her, according to Washington and the Intelligence Committee, who made the ruling that they will not proceed with her Senate hearings until they have all of the paperwork. Pete Hegseth and a few others have managed to get into their hearings and get out of them without FBI background checks and without intelligence community gathering on her. Tulsi Gabbard will not be allowed that luxury. So the problem is that there's paperwork missing from the Government Ethics Committee. They have not gotten it all together. I don't believe they have it gathered all together, and I believe one of the holdups is the FBI. But according to the Senate Majority Whip, in other words, a Republican, it's a problem with her paperwork coming out of the Office of the Government Ethics. According to Politico, and I want to read this, there's a clip here that I had in the background here, Senator John Curtis of Utah, who's another Republican, has indicated he's quite undecided and requires more information to proceed. And the minute he said that, 8 other Republican senators lined up behind him and agreed with him totally. Tulsi's got some background here where she decided that she was going to go visit the disgraced ex-president of Syria, al-Assad, just after he was deposed out and shamed by the world. For some reason, she felt the need to fly over there and have a conference with him. And I haven't found the details of that, and I think several other people haven't found those details, and they're not really sure that if what they heard was true at all. They're not believing what's going on with it. Her look at foreign policy has raised the hairs on the backs of the necks of the people who are paid to worry about that kind of thing for us. Okay? The intelligence people of the world and the intelligence people of the United States, not just naming one group, have expressed concerns about her interest in other areas that maybe she shouldn't be involved in. There's the much talked about Russian influence, which, and I'll tell you right up front here, there's not a shred of evidence. It's speculation on both sides that she has been and is a puppet for communist regimes, and in particular Mr. Putin. But again, no evidence, so I'm not gonna nail her to the cross on that one. Okay. She's also railed up against some crazy things about cybersecurity. She claimed that during her presidential run this last time around that her sites were hacked and that we needed better security. Well, geez, we've got pretty good security here, so it's like, Tulsi, did you check your IT people? Did you hire the right ones? I didn't hear of too many other people getting hacked. So, but she was quite vocal about that and quite tough on the U.S. government for not having more care and concern about that whole thing. Her criticism of the big tech companies also with their censorship. And again, that censorship is a two-way street. What are we censoring? Are we censoring free speech, or are we censoring the lack of confirmation of information and allowing disinformation in? I know when I was much younger, we were quite concerned about Big Brother watching us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that you're watching yourself and you're feeding them all the information they want. Let's start out with Facebook, Instagram, X. There's so many out there that you're feeding your information into. TikTok, again, right at the top of the list, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a TikTok fan. I don't have a TikTok account. But we're feeding the information in there. So, Tulsi, what were you concerned about with Big Brother and censorship? What was it that it was your concern? Because I hadn't seen it. Anyways, that's just my daily update on what's going on with the Senate hearings on the cabinet positions. I'm going to bet my money on this one not making it through. I don't think she's got the creds or the background, even though she is a war veteran, and I will not take that away from her. She was a woman in a combat zone. Thank you for your service. I don't think that your interests lie in our national security right now. With that, folks, my usual rant. If you like what I'm doing here, help me out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your friends about it, share my channel with them, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.